Talkin Hands. We are back live at Southtown 101 Studios, previewing UFC 250, Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer. As always, I'm your host, Preston Echdal, joined by my co-host, Slaughterhouse1 on Twitter. Jeff Slaughter, how we doing?
What's
Great
up?
week last week.
Dude, 10-1. You can't ask for anything better. We were up over 22 units. We blew it out of the fucking park, and we're looking to do it again.
Yeah, I
Let's
mean,
rock and roll.
yeah, let's get this money.
I think this is a pretty good card to watch. I mean, there's a lot of question marks. Like, I love this card. I actually do like this card. I don't know from a betting standpoint yet. We'll see how the weekend goes. But
yeah, there's a couple good like veteran versus newcomer type fights, and yeah, it's riddled. Most fights are lined pretty close, so yeah, let's get right to it.
Yep, let's get to it, man, because we don't need to recap last week. We were streaming live, and we stream live every Saturday night for the main event. You can watch us on YouTube, Pub Sports Radio, Talkin Hands. And to kick off the sponsors real quick, let's just kick off Natural Heights. They're our sponsor. If you suffer from stress, anxiety, joint pain, PTSD, anxiety, insomnia, any of that stuff, guys, y'all go call them. They're 210-592-1060. Or you can go visit them at 1880 Nacogdoches Road. Yeah.
And then, as always, we're here at Southtown 101 Bar and Grill. First Friday tonight. Come on out. San Antonio, Texas. Bars are now, what, 50%?
50%, baby. So it's on. I mean, it's popping. We got live music on the patio. There's barbecue out back. Things are looking good right now.
Yeah, and look at, we have Mr. Donnie Seymour watching. How's it going, Donnie?
What's up, Donnie?
Yeah, tell us. Hopefully tell us.
Hopefully, yeah. Well, let's get started with so the first fight of the night is one that I'll be betting a nice hefty sum on, and I'm sure everyone knows who it's going to be. You got Herbert Burns facing Evan Dunham. Burns comes in at minus 225, Dunham plus 185 on mybookie.ag. If you put in our promo code Pub Sports, you'll get
50% bonus match.
Exactly. Yeah. So back to the lines, we have over and under 2.5. Over is even money, under minus 130. Preston, go ahead.
Yeah, so Evan Dunham is coming back. He was recently retired for 2 years now, off back-to-back losses. This fight's a catchweight at 150 pounds. He's a good, solid vet, good scrambler, decent wrestler, not great striking, just does enough. Always kind of like a borderline top 15 guy, like just middle of the pack. Herbert Burns is Gilbert Burns' brother. Great submissions, great jiu-jitsu. Last fight, he knocked out Nate Landwehr, who we just saw beat Darren Elkins with a knee to the head. And if he looks like his striking is improving fight by fight, he's going to be a tough guy to take out for Evan Dunham. I think Burns is just a little more technically sound pretty much everywhere this fight takes place. What I would look at personally would be a Burns by submission prop. I don't know what that currently is, but I think that's how he'll get it done, because I could see Dunham actually taking Burns down, but then getting caught in a triangle and armbar from bottom, and then Burns getting that sub. So
Burns by submission is plus 130.
Yeah, so if you don't want to lay the 220 or 215, whatever it is, you could take that plus 130, because I do think that's how he'll get it done. So, yeah, I do. I like Burns here. Yeah.
Yep, and I'm all over Burns here. I'm going to put a hefty sum on him. Burns, and he's over 10 years in. He's a black belt. I mean, a very solid high black belt. The fight goes to the ground. He's got that covered. Dunham retired for a reason, man. He's taken some damage in his last couple fights. Just simple little body shots, it seemed like, kind of took him out.
Yeah.
If Burns can get this guy in a clinch with some heavy blows to the body, I think it's over. And like you did say, Burns has gotten better fight after fight, just like his brother. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's got some heavy hands too, and he's got explosive power in that. The other thing, Burns is very underrated with his shoots. Like, man, he gets in there and he shoots very strong. Like, you would think he's a solid wrestler, but I guess just all the years of black belt and grappling, he's become that. So
rewatching the fight against Nate Landwehr, he looked a lot better than I remembered.
Yeah, so I'm all over Burns, and I'm going heavy on Burns to start off the night. I feel like if I can at least pick up more than half of my bankroll here, the night's going to be great. So we're already pushing. So let's move on. We're both agreeing on some Burns. The next fight, do you have Minifield?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alonzo Menifield versus
Let me
Devin
look at those
Clark.
lines because my bookies is all screwed up. All right. Alonzo Menifield comes in at minus 230. He's facing Devin Clark plus 185. The over and under here is 1.5. Over minus 115. Under minus 115. What do you got, Preston?
Yeah, so this was an interesting one. Originally, I was kind of leaning Clark at the decent dog price, but when you watch more of Clark, he doesn't like taking punches at all, and then when he gets hit, he kind of cowers, and then it's pretty quick that he's going to get dropped and finished. Against Ryan Spann previously, he was actually competing pretty well. Then Spann caught him with like a couple good shots up top. He shot, did a horrible shot, got hooked in a guillotine, tapped out. And Menifield is very powerful. Short, stocky, strong guy, explosive power. Your worry is if this fight goes to round two, deep round three, if he gasses out and Clark steals the decision. But I think Menifield has the power, and he had good takedown defense against Paul Craig, who's more of a jiu-jitsu guy than Clark is. Clark's just primarily a wrestler, and he didn't get put on his back there. So I think he'll avoid the ground exchanges. This fight will stay standing, and he should get him out with a knockout.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Menifield's coming in strong, man. He is a strong, athletic guy. Devin Clark's big too, and he's powerful, but Devin Clark does run away from adversity. Like, he doesn't like to be in the pocket. If he's going to take those exchanges, he won't do it. He's going to run away. And that's going to look real bad on the judges all night if he's constantly running away. Now, Menifield is an underrated wrestler as well, because I know people think that Clark's only chance here, which probably is his only chance, is for him to shoot and constantly go after the takedown. Alonzo Menifield, I'm sorry. He man, he's strong too, and he's got some. Because he's so strong, he has these underhooks where he can pretty much take the fight against the cage. He can flip the guy. He's not going to stay on his guard. He's going to get up, and I think he just has enough power all around to. He's not, it's his time, man. So I'm looking to actually win fight one, roll all my money over to Menifield the next fight, and really pound this guy. So these first two fights are crucial in my card. I'm all over Menifield here.
Yeah, no, I think I agree there. That's the way to go.
So we got the next fight, which is probably a little bit closer than in most people's books. Alex Perez comes in at minus 135. Jussier Formiga plus 105. Over and under 2.5. Over minus 235. Under plus 195. I'll take off here. I like Formiga as the dog plus 105. I don't think it's going to be that come fight time. Probably a little bit closer to even money. Yeah. But Alex Perez, man, he's young, he's hungry. And you got to wonder where Formiga's head is, man, because his last few fights, he doesn't look great, like he really wants to be there. Although the Moreno fight was a little bit closer than I
thought Formiga won the fight. I did have a bet on Formiga in that fight.
And Moreno, though, looking back, though, he looked fucking really well, too. Like, these are
he's
good fighters.
He's a great scrambler, like scrappy guy.
And the thing that Formiga, for me, is, maybe his head's not there, but his skill, it still is, and his instinct. And he's a whole different level competition than Alex Perez has faced. Mm-hmm. And just for that reason alone, I mean, I know Alex is the younger, hungrier guy. He hasn't really fought anyone of the caliber Formiga has. That Formiga's actually put away with, the future champ coming up here, Figueiredo.
Yeah. Formiga dominated Figueiredo pretty good last year.
So, dude, I'm going with Formiga at plus 105. I'm hoping, like I said, things go the way I'm going. 1, 2, 3. We're going to hammer these first three fights pretty hard. This one, though, is going to be closer because Formiga is not known to getting these scraps. Like, he's going to go try to shoot, get the guy down, go for takedowns, and then it's up to Alex to see how well he's going to scramble. Alex might have the more power here because Formiga's not knocking anyone out, but Formiga's underrated striker too, man. He's more of a counter guy.
Yeah.
And he got calf kicks, so that helps a lot. So I'm going Formiga here. I just think the more experience is the way to go.
Yeah, so initially when I saw this fight and where it was on the card, this seems like a pretty big fight, and they're putting it third, which is surprising because Formiga, like Jeff said, beat the current I think he's the flyweight champion, Davidson Figueiredo, and he beat him pretty easily. Just took him down, stayed on top of him, beat him up on the ground. And Alex Perez, the one time he really stepped up, he got beat pretty bad by Joseph Benavidez. Perez, I'm going to give Perez a slight advantage standing. I think he's the longer guy, but I think Formiga is going to be better at scrambling, taking him down, and just staying on top and grinding rounds out. I think a over 2.5 looks very good in this fight. I don't think either guy's going to get finished. And Perez, he looks good, but the last fight against Espinoza kind of just laid down right against the cage and let his get caught in that arm triangle for like a minute. Like he didn't really even defend it. So, and before that, Alex Perez beat Mark De La Rosa, who, my personal opinion, shouldn't be in the UFC. So I think Formiga, especially at a dog price, I think it's a really, really solid bet. And a lot of people say, where are you getting value? And yeah, you're definitely getting value in Formiga. He could be the current champion.
I agree 100%. So we got 3 in a row right off the bat, guys. Hopefully this is a good night and we can keep rolling over. Although this next fight, I'm probably looking to stay away from. I'm not going to risk everything on it. That's for sure. Charles Byrd comes in at -190 against Patola, +150, over and under 1.5, -190, under 1.5 is +155. Patola, Coconut Bombs. What you got, Preston?
Yeah, so Maki Pitolo had a great finish at the Contender Series, which got him his UFC contract. He's a 170-pounder moving up in weight for this fight to 185 against a natural 185-pound fighter in Charles Byrd. The other issue I had with Pitolo is his last fight. He was a -400 favorite versus Kalen Potter, and he couldn't put the guy away. It was like Rock'em Sock'em Robots out there. They were both just throwing bomb after bomb against each other. And then Pitolo gassed out. Potter got the ground positioning and won a decision. Charles Byrd, it's tough to lay 190 with a guy who's lost 2 fights in a row. His last fight, I would throw out against Edmund Shabazian. He shot, he had him, and then Shabazian, I think they're illegal elbows, but apparently they don't call them illegal elbows in the UFC, just hammered the hell out of his head against the cage like 10 times, and he was out.
Yeah.
So that's like a no fight. It ended in 30 seconds. The fight before, he landed some bombs against Darren Stewart, but Stewart was just a little too good for him. Originally, I was all over Byrd, and then I was talking myself into Pitolo, but I'm going to go back, side with the favorite here. I think Charles Byrd just has the grappling edge and being the naturally bigger guy, a smaller cage, which we have to mention because last week, the smaller cage, finish, unders were hitting left and right. So, maybe that's a way to look too. But yeah, I think Byrd just has the wrestling acumen to grind Pitolo out and win a decision here.
Yeah. No, this is kind of a tougher fight for me. Byrd, he's all around, obviously, the better athlete, bigger, stronger. I mean, you got to wonder where he's at, though, because he is older. His last 2 fights, he has looked pretty fucking bad. But then you look at Pitolo, and like you said, yeah, he looked like garbage against, what was it, Cotter?
Yeah, Kalen Potter, who's like a 39-year-old guy who has zero strength or like stand-up skills.
So. Yeah, so, I mean, it's just hard to tell, dude. Pitolo, he's going to come forward. They call him the Coconut Bombs. I mean, he's going to just fight like he's a Hawaiian warrior type fucking beast that's going to go in there, and he's not going to stop. So if he does win, it's going to be by clipping fucking Byrd, but I think Byrd's going to drag this thing out to a decision, and I'm going to lean Byrd. I'm not going to bet it. If I was to bet it, I think Byrd by decision is not bad at +260.
Yeah, that's a really good look because I think it's 1.5, and they're expecting like a round 1 finish with the smaller cage, them to just go right at each other. I think Byrd would know to play it somewhat smart, drag him into deep water, and then just round 2 and round 3 easily win those rounds to solidify a decision.
I agree, but at the same time, it's not going to surprise me if Pitolo puts Byrd to sleep.
Yeah, if he clips him right away and knocks him out, then it's bye-bye Byrd. You're going to Bellator or something. So.
And that's why I don't think I'm going to play this bet because I'm not 100% confident, but
I would lean because it's 1.5, right? I would lean over the 1.5.
Over 1.5 does look good. What was that? So that's
probably 160.
Yeah, 190 -190. So they're saying pretty much they want it to go
Yeah, because that's
over the 1.5.
yeah.
But
Because 1.5, it's not that bad. 2.5, you kind of get a little worried, but
I mean, Bird probably not going to go out there and just start throwing bombs with this guy. He's going to want to take the dude
yeah,
down.
no, I think he's gonna like try to clinch him against the cage. It'll be kind of boring,
Yep.
and then Patola will gas out, and Bird should put on him.
I agree. Okay, we're coming up to the next fight. So the next fight we have Cody Stanman, right, versus Brian Kelleher.
Yep.
That comes in at my bookie has it currently. Cody Stanman is minus 270. Brian Kelleher is plus 210. Over and under 2.5 minus 235. Under 2.5 plus 195. Preston, what do you got?
So this was a tough one. Originally, I was all over Cody Stamen. He's a good grappler, good wrestler. We just saw Keller fight 3 weeks ago, I believe, against Hunter Azure. Had a large bet on Hunter Azure. Hunter Azure was dominating the fight. Then he gassed out, drops his hands. Keller hits him with a left hook, knocks him out. Fight's over. Keller gets the quick rebound here. The issue here is, though, Cody Stamen's brother died last week. He elected to continue on with this fight. I'm a little worried where his head is mentally for this fight. Before that happened, he requested Brian Keller because he thought Brian Kelleher fought like shit, which I agree. So he sees something that he can do against Keller, either grind it out in a grappling match. I think he's quicker. I think he'll outstrike him. But if he's not focused mentally and gets into a slugging contest, we've seen Keller knock people out. Keller could clip him, and then, if you're laying minus 270, that's not what you want to see. So for me, for a bet, I am actually going to pass this fight. This was a pretty solid Stamen pick for me prior to the news that his brother passed away. And I do pick Cody Stamen to win the fight. I'm not going to lay the 260, 270 on him. Again, this good. Got to watch the stream tomorrow. Maybe I'll be on a good roll and take Stamen. But yeah, I like Stamen here. I just think I personally don't think Keller is that great. But it's all where's Keller's head at. So
yeah, I mean, Kelleher, he capitalizes off mistakes a lot. Like people they go for that sloppy shoot, and then he gets the fucking guillotine.
Yeah,
everyone talks about the strong guillotine. Well, half of the time it's a mistake on the other guy's half. Stanman is so disciplined. He's not going to do shit like that, man. He knows his range. He's in and out. Like you said, he's probably quicker on the feet with his hands. He's going to get more shots in. I think he is the better wrestler by far. Kelleher doesn't have a huge wrestling game. Man, I'm going Stanman all the way. I'm not going to lay the 270 by any means. I think that is too much.
Well, and Stamen,
Stamen, yeah. I want to shout out to them real quick for the family and everybody, and we're sending all our positive vibes from.
Yeah, and he just drew with Dong Yasong Dong, who's a pretty high prospect. He's beat good fighters. He fought Aljamain Sterling pretty tough.
Oh, and he fucking man. Yeah. And that was like you said, he's got the better resume. I mean, Kelleher hasn't really fought in anyone too impressive in my book.
Yeah, and Keller, he just kind of gets in these like grimy type fights where
a couple contender series guys he's beaten, and
where he's kind of hoping just to like either steal a decision or the opponent gasses out and then he capitalizes, because Hunter Azure was winning that fight pretty clearly. The guy gassed out and then stood up and had his hands down and got knocked out. I mean, that's what happened. Like,
I honestly think this is a safe bet with Stamen. I think he uses the motivation and, everything that's happened to his advantage. His brother was a big fight fan. He'd said that all week. I think he wins this for his brother, man. I mean, even if it's by decision, you're laying minus 140. That's not horrible, because it could go a 3-round decision. I don't want to, take anything away from Brian Kelleher. He's a tough kid. I mean, and he's got good hands. He can catch someone with that left, but I'm going to go Cody all the way.
Yeah, no, I'm picking Stamen. I just don't want him to engage in like a brawl when if he uses his wrestling, he could easily win a 30-27 decision.
Even if he does own the brawl, look who he fought against Heavy Hands Song.
Yeah, Song, and then Sterling.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Those are two heavy hands right there, and he came out probably on the better end of those two. So I don't know, man. I think he's pretty good in this fight. Moving next. What's what we got next here?
Ian Heinisch versus Gerald Meerschaert, where this fight was interesting because yesterday they removed Ian Heinisch and said he wasn't fighting, and local San Antonio kid Anthony Ivy got the call up, and then 6 hours later, we find out Ian Heinisch is in fact fighting. So I don't know if that's in Gerald Mearshardt's head or what, but interesting. UFC did say, though, they're going to keep Anthony Ivy
on the next card,
and he's going to be fighting somewhat soon.
Yeah, it looks like on the next card he's on it. With and
Cavallio. Yeah, that's a horrendous card.
Yeah, so he'll be the first fight, it looks like, on that. Anyway, so Heinisch comes in at -145, Mearshart GM3 +100, even money, over and under 2.5. The over is 220, -220. The under 2.5 is +150. What do you got, Preston?
Yeah, so neither of these guys is too impressive, but if you're going off recent fights, you'd have to agree that Gerald Mearshart is performing better in his more recent fights. Heinisch took a pretty decent step up against Derek Brunson, and he just got outworked. And he doesn't change his style at all. He kind of just sways, bobs, throws a couple punches, clinches, tries to get you down, and like grinds a decision. But it's not very pretty, and it's not very effective. Gerald Mearshart, we've seen get those submissions. Even when he's down in a fight, he'll grab a submission, grab an arm, grab a choke. Tough, very tough. He can eat a shot, take a shot. Heinisch can too. The safest bet to me, it's either Mearshart sub or over 2.5. I think both those are pretty safe, but you're getting the plus money with Mearshart, and I think he can take a shot. I think he can take a good punch. I think he can out-grapple Heinisch. I think Heinisch is the bigger guy, but I think Heinisch is also more prone to gassing out. And then that's what we saw. Mearshart fought Jaron Wynn. Wynn just gassed out bad. Wynn, though, is, 5'4", and shouldn't be fighting at 185. So Wynn is not that great. But, yeah, it's a tough fight because I think Mearshart has a little more skills overall. But and he's the dog, and you got to sprinkle some dogs in there too. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Milwaukee guy, GM3, Gerald Mearshart, probably by decision, maybe by sub.
Yeah, man, this is a tough one for me. I originally put out on my leans last night, Gerald Mearshart, but man, after rethinking and watching some stuff, I got to go with Ian here at -145. I just think Ian with the size. Although Mearshart is an unproven kind of his boxing has gotten a lot better, but he's still the slow, flat-footed freaking guy here. Ian's got way better footwork that can keep him out of trouble. But like you said, you always worry about those damn fucking submissions, and every time I go against GM3, I lose.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Ian to me is not very impressive at all either. I mean,
no, because he won 2 fights, and then he fought Brunson, didn't look good. Then he fought again and lost again. So he's off 2 losses back to back, and I don't think he's that great.
Yeah, I don't think he's that great. I just think he's going to have find something here to win. I mean, he's got to use his size, his wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, he could. I think for him to win, it's just clinch against the cage. But it's going to be like that stupid Eric Anders fight, remember, versus Jocko?
Exactly. Yeah,
where
exactly.
They were just against the cage. Neither guy was doing much. And then you're just hoping, did my guy win? It goes to the decision, and you win or lose.
Yeah, and that's the thing is GM3, if he's at least trying submissions, I mean, that judges are going to obviously give it to him. So
yeah.
Man, I'm just going with Ian, just more of a gut instinct. I originally put out GM3. I might still change my mind, but for the show, I'm going to go ahead and put out Ian -145. Yeah. So that brings us to the next fight. That's our first disagreement. The next fight, though, is coming up is Chase Hooper, right?
Yep.
Chase Hooper comes in at -200 versus Alex Caceres +150. Over and under 2.5 +125. Under 2.5 -155. Preston, what do you have?
Yeah, so Chase Hooper is a young kid for the UFC. Really bright future, very good submission game, good grappling. Just an overall solid prospect. Problem is to me, he has zero stand-up. But this is a smaller cage. Smaller cage means he can grab a hold of Caceres, drag him down, and get a submission. Alex Caceres is a veteran of the sport. He's fought a who's who of UFC fighters, Faber. The list goes on and on. But he's kind of like Michael Johnson in the case where he's good, but he always somehow puts himself into bad positions. You put yourself in a bad position against Chase Hooper, he's going to tap you out. Originally, I wanted to take Caceres, but I watched his fight versus Crone Gracie, which is a pretty similar type fight to this, who's Crone Gracie at the time had zero stand-up as well, and Gracie tapped him out in 2 minutes. I don't think Chase Hooper is going to get him out that quick, but I do think Chase Hooper will eventually get him down and either sub him or ground and pound him for the victory, and UFC can keep building up their new golden child.
Yeah, their golden child. And that's obviously who they want to win here is Hooper, because minus 200, he's only had X amount of fights compared to the long veteran Bruce Leroy, who's been around forever. And he's not at the end of the pack by any means. He's kind of a middle of the run kind of guy. I mean, on the feet, this guy's going to have the edge all day long. He's going to win this fight on the feet.
Yeah, it's just if he can keep it on the feet for 15 minutes.
Exactly, and that is the problem, because Chase Hooper is prone to taking shots, and surely he's not going to sit there and eat a bunch of shots. He's got to get this fight to the ground.
Yeah.
And Alex has been submitted quite a bit on his resume. You can see that. It looks like
he's lost 7 fights by submission.
It's one of his weaknesses. So with that said, man, I mean, you got to go Hooper here. Although it's not going to surprise me. I'm not going to bet this fight, but if I did, I almost would take the dog, because it won't surprise me if for 2 minutes there's an exchange on the feet where Alex does clip Hooper and knock him out. I mean, Hooper hasn't really been tested like that yet, so we'll see. But
yeah, I mean, well, the money's flooding in on Hooper too. It was like 150, now it's up to 200. So
I mean, I'm gonna lean Hooper to win. I'm pretty sure he will by sub. What is it by sub? Because that would be the best bet.
Should be around probably even, maybe plus 100.
Chase Hooper by submission plus 150. I mean, that's the way to fucking go right there. Because the last time he went into a decision, I think was like a draw, and it was very bad fight, and that's not gonna happen. So
yeah.
By a submission plus 150, damn, that looks good. If you want to,
that, or it could be TKO due to ground and pound. That could happen as well, where he just gets him down, gets him out, and just starts.
But he's only really done that once, and that was a fucking very slip up by that other guy. Like, that was a fucking horrible mistake.
Yeah.
Where he wrapped him up in his legs. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
And he had it fucking just beating his face.
Yeah.
That was his last fight, wasn't it?
Against Tamor.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we're both Hooper. I mean, Hooper's going to win, I think, but I don't know. I guess minus 200 is not that bad either,
well, I think the deal with this is, and it could be for the next fighter next with O'Malley, is when they fight more guys who aren't as prone, like these are like not free fights or gimme fights, but the UFC is making these fights for these guys to elevate them to more contender status. Once they have to fight those, like for O'Malley, it would be Sterling, Sandhagen. Hooper, it's going to be, Hooper's at what, 145?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Hooper's at 145. Like, what if Hooper has to fight Max Holloway? He has zero chance.
No, that's
Max
what I'm
Holloway.
saying. Like, that's
So once they start fighting like the better fighters, that's when you can fade them. You know, that's when it's like, okay, now you're against a wrestler who's just going to take you down, beat the hell out of you, and beat you standing. Can't do much with your sub game there.
Man, this is just tough though, because Alex is a veteran. I mean, the Bruce Leroy has beaten some names, and he has fought in some competition.
I think this is a good test for Hooper.
It's a good test for Hooper. Yeah,
I think but that's the deal. I think the deal is he's going to win this fight. Then the next fight, he's going to fight a guy who's going to outclass him pretty bad.
Yep.
But we'll see.
We'll see, man. So lean in Hooper. Minus 200 if you want to go that route. It's not a bad bet. Or the submission plus 150.
Yeah.
Okay, the next fight. We're coming up. The
main
big fight.
Card.
Main card. The first fight of the main card. Bringing in Sean O'Malley, the biggest, almost the biggest favorite on the card.
Yeah.
Coming in at 5-1, minus 500 against Eddie Wineland, plus 350. Over and under 1.5, minus 150. Under plus 120. Man, this is a pretty good test for O'Malley. I guess his best test yet, but I don't see it as a test. Eddie, as good as he was, he's not as good as O'Malley is in any aspect, I don't think. The dude leaves his hands down. He's real, with someone as accurate and has much speed as O'Malley has and creative, I mean, that's a losing combination right there.
Yep.
There's no way O'Malley, the next Conor McGregor, the
Yeah.
golden child.
Yeah.
That's what they want. I mean, there's no way this guy's going to lose this fight. I guess the one way you would say is Eddie is a tough guy. He's got heavy hands, but man, O'Malley's just too good.
Yeah, so O'Malley was off a 2-year USADA suspension, came back this March, looked the best he's ever looked. He demolished Jose Quinones in 2 minutes, gets a quick rebound fight here, turnaround fight against Eddie Wineland. Eddie Wineland, good veteran, but like Jeff said, he doesn't have really any advantage in this fight. He's shorter than O'Malley. It's not as strong as O'Malley.
The reach,
the grappling, O'Malley has the edge. The stand-up, O'Malley has the edge. Striking, pretty much anywhere this fight takes place, O'Malley is the better fighter. Maybe the chin could be arguable, but again, I don't think Wineland has enough power to put Sugar Sean out. I do think this is a layup. I just hate the line. You're laying 500 to win 100 here. If it's an easy win, it's an easy win. But Wineland, like Jeff was saying, he's tough, but he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna win rounds, and that's kind of what you need, like a guy to have like a pure. You can make an easy case, like, okay, he's the wrestler, the other guy's a striker. If I have a wrestler at plus 400, I know he could at least grind the striker down and win some rounds. He can't do that against Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley will sprawl out, and even if it gets to the ground, I think Sean O'Malley will reverse, get on top, and he has better jiu-jitsu. So, yeah, I like Sean O'Malley here. I know the round prop, I think, is 1.5. It could be, it could be a decision. You could look over. Maybe you could get O'Malley by decision. But I think O'Malley's a pretty safe, if you like parlays, a good parlay piece.
Yeah, I mean, dude, at a 5-1 O'Malley, I'm expecting a fucking first round knockout. Like, this guy needs to fucking do something to put on the show. He's already did it last fight.
Yeah, and he's made mention that he wants to get a title shot this year, which shouldn't happen.
It's not going to happen, but he needs to keep being flashy to move up the ranks quick, like Conor did. I mean, kind of the same path, but I mean, dude, Sean O'Malley is probably one of the most creative strikers in the whole UFC. I mean, the guy's a handful at all aspects.
He's very entertaining.
Trying to look at the props here. I mean, O'Malley by KO minus 140, O'Malley by decision plus 275, submission I wouldn't go there, but plus 800. Man, I mean,
so
TKO minus 140 looks pretty.
Yeah, that's what I'm
good.
saying. You can bet that, and then you could put a little on decision, and then if it does go to decision, you win.
If you don't want to lay the 500, if the first 3 fights go as I plan, I'll probably have at least 1,000 on this to win 500. So that's a good way to look at it if you have the bankroll, because it is going to be an easy layup bet. I think almost as confident as this and as Nunes later down the card, but. Yeah, man, let's go for it. Let's fucking do it. And the minus 140, shoot, I might have a piece of that too. By KO, TKO, that looks good.
Yep.
Anyway, okay, cool. So we're into the next fight, which brings us to an interesting fight. We got Anthony Rocco Martin versus Neil Magny. Let me pull up the odds here. Neil Magny is coming in the favorite, minus 150. Anthony Rocco Martin plus 120. Over and under 2.5, under 2.5. The over is minus 225, under plus 185. Preston, what do you got here?
Yeah, so pretty tough fight here. Neil Magny looked fantastic his last bout against the Leech. Just kind of outpointed him, outstruck him, put on him. Leech didn't do much. Tall, long guy. Trains at Team Elevation with Gaethje, Blades, a guy coming up here, Sandhagen. And he's an overall good fighter. Rocco Martin looked good his last couple of fights. Lost close decision against Damian Maia. Problem is, though, and I want to make the case for Martin because he can use kicks. Magny's been hurt by leg kicks, but it's a smaller cage. I think Magny, with the smaller cage, is going to grapple Rocco Martin, and he's not going to totally dominate him on the ground. I think he's going to have more advantageous positions, staying on top, using the reach where Martin won't get inside besides his leg kicks and his jab. And even the jab is going to be tough to land too with that reach of Magny because Magny can stay output, throw a straight right, clinch him, get him against the cage, maybe drag him down. It's not a slam dunk by any means, but I want to make the case for Tony Martin. I watched a lot of his fights. He's tough, but I think with the camp that Magny's out of, training with Justin Gaethje, who throws lethal leg kicks as well, and just being, I do use height and reach quite a bit in my handicap. I think it's just going to be tough for Martin to get inside. I don't think he can sub Magny out. And in a straight stand-up fight, I think it's going to be close. But in a close fight, I'll take the taller, longer fighter. So I'm going with Neil Magny by decision.
Okay, yeah, man, this is a tough fight. It's really close, and I think the line should be a little bit closer than what it is. Magny's coming off of an excellent-looking fight, great performance, but then you start looking at Jinlang Lee's fucking stats, and the dude threw 16 strikes in that whole damn match. So I don't think we saw a full-blown Lee. He might have maybe gassed too early.
Yeah. He didn't look like the Lee that was in China when we were in Vegas,
Hell
where
no.
he just killed.
We got our ass killed by.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, I think it's a little deceiving there, but Magny is been around forever. I mean, he did come off a layoff from injury, or no, the suspension.
Yeah.
But Magny is the bigger guy, obviously, but not by much. I personally, though, think Anthony Rocco Martin is the way to go. I think he is the better kickboxer. I think he's got better jiu-jitsu. And if he does get in the clinch, he's gonna land some shots. He's not just gonna clinch up. I mean, Magny, Lee was shooting the entire time. Rocco's going to be standing the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that if Magny does try to clinch up, Rocco's going to try to scramble out of it, use his knees, use his clinch. He's a great kickboxer. Man, it's a tough fight, but I'm going to the dog here because I think it's closer money. So I'm going Rocco all the way. I think he's got enough to take the decision, and I do think it's going to be a decision.
I think that's a very, very safe look, is over 2.5. I know it's probably like minus 220, 250.
Yeah, the over 2.5. Let me look at decision here. Does this fight go the distance? Yeah, minus 212. Yeah. Round one, Anthony win by points, plus 275. I mean, there's not really nothing worth playing in here because you don't know how either of these guys are going to win. I don't think either of them has enough to knock each other out. I don't think either of them has enough to submit each other, although Rocco does have the better jiu-jitsu. But like you said, with Magny having the stronger frame and everything, I think it's going to be a decision, and I think it comes down to just those kicks. I think Martin's got these American top team. They love their calf kicks over there.
I love
their calf kicks.
I like Tony Martin, Rocco Martin. He's done me well. I just think this is it's a tough fight because he fluctuated between lightweight and now he's at welterweight, and Magny's a pretty big welterweight. But
the one thing you could say is Magny is a more high volume guy, so that might edge in the decision there. It's a tough bet. I'm going with my gut. I'm going with Rocco. I think he looking to crack that top 15.
Yeah. I mean, they're both right there.
They're both right there. So here comes the next fight. This is probably the most intriguing fight on the card, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Either one of these guys is going to be challenging for a championship belt.
Yep.
Their next fight.
Yep.
Corey Sandhagen versus Aljamain Sterling. The odds are, for my bookie, I'm sorry,
right around a pick.
It should be right around a pick. But Corey Sandhagen comes in at minus 120. Sterling minus 110. Over and under 2.5 minus 200. Under plus 260. What you got, dude?
Yeah. So this is besides probably Charles Oliveira, Corey Sandhagen might be number 2 on my list of favorite fighters. It's not really too much of a bias because I was watching. So Sterling is on a good run, a very good tear, 4 straight wins, 4 good opponents. But if you watch the fight, they're closer than they look. He gets these unanimous decision fight wins, but he's getting hit a lot. And when he's getting hit to the body, he's kind of like the guy who beat Barbosa, Iggy, where he can like hold it, but he's hurt. Then the other guy just lays off a bit. Sandhagen throws vicious leg kicks and knees to the body. I think Sandhagen, with the smaller cage, is going to be able to pounce more than those guys because Munez and Rivera hurt Sterling to the body. And then all Sterling did was kind of run around the bigger cage a little bit, avoided it, and then just kind of outboxed him. Sandhagen, I think, delivers more volume. He gets hit more. And the big drawback that I've seen a lot of people say is, oh, his takedown defense sucks. Sterling's going to just put him on his back and hold him. But you watch the fights, Rafael Assunção put him on his back. Sandhagen has a very good ability to just hop right back up, use his shoulders, escape the body lock, get out, and he just out kickboxes his opponent. I think that's what he's going to do here against Sterling. I really like Sandhagen here. I think Sterling has the edge if he can hold him down. I don't think he will. I don't think Sterling's plan is going to be just to clinch against the cage. I think they're going to stay standing for most of this fight. And I think Sterling might land the heavier shots, but I think the volume of Sandhagen is going to get him the win. And we've seen it the past few fights. Last week we had Sakai against Blagoy Ivanov. Ivanov hit him probably with the harder shots, but Sakai threw more. There's no crowd, so I think the more shots landed sways the judges. I really like Sandhagen here by decision. I do think Sterling has a pretty good edge if he can just get on top, because I don't think Sandhagen's going to take Sterling down and get on top. But again, I think the fight stays standing. I like Sandhagen, and honestly, I like Sandhagen to eventually beat Peter Yan and become a champion for a long time. Tough guy to beat.
Man, this is a great fight because both these guys are freaking excellent fighters, man. Corey Sandhagen, he's fairly new to the scene as far as he's only had 4 fights and he's already right there for a title.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, Sterling, who comes in, who has really fucking, he's made a strong comeback and he's been around for quite some time. He has moved up the ranks. He is a true blue collar guy that worked so hard to get where he's at, man. And he deserves every bit of it. Cause if you look at his last 5 fights, he's fought in some fucking studs.
Yeah.
Munez, Riviera, Stemmen, Johns. He got knocked out by Marlon and then Rafael, who's later on this card. But dude, he's just a grind. He's just a grinder and he's going to grind. He's got heavy hands. You said earlier that you think he will land the heavier shots. I also agree. And you do worry a little about the clinch. Sandhagen has been slammed in multiple fights. He's been slammed down, but he always gets back up. He doesn't sit there long and he doesn't pull guard and he doesn't fuck around. Like, he's going to get back up. Yep. That's his thing. He knows that this is a huge opportunity. He has to use his length. He's got great kicks, great striking, probably the edge. Although Sterling, man, and inside boxing maybe has the edge, but man, I'm going Corey because I do want Corey to win. I think he definitely more creative. Man, and I just don't think Sterling has enough. I just don't. It's tough because he does have enough, but I don't know because I don't know, man. This is tough for me, dude. I'm going Sandhagen just because I'm flipping the coin here.
Yeah, I just think Sandhagen's the best fighter, just like I think at lightweight, perhaps that Charles Oliveira might be the best fighter. And Sandhagen right now is training with one of the top gyms in America at Team Elevation. Gaethje, Curtis Blades, Neil Magny's out there. They're getting it done, and they have a good game plan. They come in prepared, focused. They're gonna have a good game plan here. There's, I watched the Embedded and the the preview show. Sandhagen was out there talking, okay, smaller cage, I have to be more precise with my movement, know when to come in, when to back away, come in 1-2, 1-2. I think Sandhagen's going to outwork him, and then I think Sandhagen's going to win the title. I think Sandhagen would have beat Henry Cejudo.
And I think you're right. Looking at his record right now, his last 2, Lineker and Rafael Asuncio, decision. Like, he outworked those guys. He got slammed in both those fights, got up, great scrambler, very underrated. But dude, I'm going Corey too.
He took bombs from John Lineker. John Lineker is a known like KO artist, and he took some heavy shots. Took him on the chin, just outworked him.
Not to mention Sterling's in there fighting these guys that are like 5'5", 5'6".
Yeah, Munoz is
and this guy's 5'11", but he does. What's weird is Sterling has the 1-inch reach, But Corey Sandhagen's legs are fucking way longer.
Yeah,
like, he's gonna kick the shit out.
Yeah.
I think he's just gonna front kick, use those kicks, stay away, outpoint Sterling in every way. I mean, I think he wins this fight pretty easily. I'm putting good amount of coin on Sandhagen.
Yep.
And let's move on, man. Let's move on to the next event, which I think they should flip flop these two fights. I don't know why Corey Sandhagen and Sterling aren't the co-main event.
Yeah, I think Garbrandt's just the popular name fighter, kind of.
Yeah, the popular name that's become a meme for the UFC for Cody Nochin.
Yeah, this is a big fight.
This is a big fight for both of these guys because they're both coming off losses. So we got Cody Garbrandt versus Rafael Asuncio. Cody's coming in at -155, Rafael +125, over and under 2.5, -115, over under -115. Man, this is a kind of a tough fight. It's not a walk in the park by any means for Rafael, but just looking at their resumes, I mean, golly, look at the difference in competition.
Yeah.
I'll let you start, man. I got a lot on this fight.
Yeah, so Rafael Assunção is a veteran of the sport, 27-7. Just lost to Corey Sandhagen, and prior to that, he took a hard, heavy shot against Marlon Moraes, got dropped, and then Moraes choked him out. Moraes was number one, number two, right
number
at the
one,
top.
number two guys in the world.
Yeah, right at the top of the division. Cody Garbrandt is off 3 back-to-back KO losses, 2 to TJ Dillashaw, and last year in March he got dropped in a slugfest firefight against Pedro Munoz. I think
Marlon didn't beat Moraes once though before that.
Yeah, no, it's Assunção. Yeah, they split. Yeah, so Cody, this is a huge fight for him. But it's a tough fight for him because Assunção has a pretty clear edge grappling. Maybe not just pure wrestling, but I don't think Cody Garbrandt's gonna try to take Assunção down. I think the big thing with him was he had the best boxing, at the division.
Super fast hands.
Yeah. So, he would just come in, get out, boom, 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 and then not get tagged and win a decision or eventually knock you out. Since he got caught and dropped his last couple of fights, his chin's kind of eroded a bit. I think their game plan is going to be Cody, circle out, jab, 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 and he's got a little bit of a height advantage. I think he has a little bit of a reach advantage. Overhand right, maybe some body shots. I think Assunção is going to muddy the fight up, clinch him, make it dirty, and get him down. And that's how Assunção will win the rounds. Cody, his whole plan is going to be stay standing, circle a lot, and just try to outbox him. I don't think he's going to be able to succeed for 2 rounds. I think he'll do it the first round. Second round, Assunção is going to get to him. Third round, I think Assunção is going to put it on him in the grappling and maybe get a late submission. I do like Assunção here. I just think he's more tested, has more overall skills. Cody is better pure standing because Assunção does eat too many shots, but you eat a shot to take a shot. He'll eat a shot, he'll throw one back, and his game plan to me has to be try to get on side and just outwork him, and then if he does that, I think he wins. My assumption with this fight for Dana White was they think it's going to be a pure stand-up fight, and Cody Garbrandt's just going to outbox him for 15 minutes and win a decision. I think Assunção isn't that shop-worn. I know he's like 37 years old, but he hasn't looked horrible, so I think he's still in it to win. So I think if he's operating at a very high level, which he should be, that he wins a decision here.
Yeah, man, I love Assunção here. Just off resume alone, you would, if you're blind and haven't watched either of these guys' fights, you would pick Assunção all day long. I mean, before Dominique Cruz, Cody Garbrandt beat scrubs. He beat nobody.
Yeah, the big fight was when he knocked out Thomas Almeida. That was a big headline Fox Sports 1 card, and both guys were kind of like the cream of the crop prospects. He knocks Almeida out. He moves to the top of the list.
And then he faces Dominique Cruz. He doesn't even finish Dominique Cruz. He just gets a decision.
Which he gets because of the camp alpha male with Faber. And then it's the rivalry.
Right.
Faber, Dillashaw. and
Dillashaw lost,
Yeah.
and then you got Pedro Munez, like
It was not a knockout puncher
by any means.
And they get into a brawl, and then Garbrandt gets hit with one pretty hard shot and gets dropped.
But if you notice before that, Pedro was kicking the fuck out of his legs, and Cody cannot be taking those leg kicks.
Yeah.
Like, so that's the thing, dude. Cody has this temper, right? So, I mean, you can do one thing to get in the guy's fucking head. Like, he's going to just walk in and start throwing bombs.
Yeah.
Now, that's good to an extent if you're fucking Cody, because that's all you can really do. You want to engage in that kind of fight. But at the same time, Asuncio is a freaking counter striker. Like, he's a good counter striker that can play that game where it's back and forth. Like you said, he's going to take one to give one. He's okay doing that. And he does have the edge, big time grappling. Although Cody does scramble pretty quick. I'll give him that. Man, I think this is a clear fucking win for Rafael. I just feel like he's going to just shoot. And just like you said, outpoint this guy on the mat, if not even maybe submit him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm going Rafael all day long.
Yeah. I think Sunsaw by submission is a pretty sharp look. Let me look at that. Yeah, because that's what I think will happen is round one, Cody's going to win it. Not super convincingly, but pretty clearly. Round two, Sunsaw will win, and then round three, Sunsaw is going to really put it on him.
Cody did change camp, so he's not with Mel, right?
Yeah,
no more.
He's with Mark Henry.
So I wonder who with Henry. I mean, surely they can't keep doing the same thing. Like, they got to have some sort of different game plan.
Yeah, in the countdown show, all the footage they were showing was just him standing and throwing his stupid 1-2s over and over.
Like, dude.
So nothing's really changed from what they're showing us. It's just him throwing his 1-2s. So.
Because if he does that right here in this match, it could be the same thing that happened to Pedro Munoz. I mean, the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, although, man, Rafael's a tough kid, man. He's not.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he can take some blows too.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely in the UFC would probably rather have Cody Garbrandt win and then give him a top 5 guy.
Because honestly, if Cody loses, what's he going to do next, dude?
Yeah, he's probably out of the rankings, and then he's fighting just a submission guy. His next fight, a guy he can knock out.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. But so I don't know, man. I wouldn't be necessarily surprised to see Cody knock Rafael out, but Asuncio, I'm all over at plus money, dude. With just the past fights, the people he's beaten, his Brazilian jiu-jitsu, his grappling, every aspect, I think he's better besides the hand speed.
Yep.
And Cody, if you watch him, he's not even that great of a boxer. He fucking throws these sloppy ass fucking hooks. He's not like when he gets into those wars, he's not throwing these straight, beautiful boxing jabs.
Yeah.
He's throwing these fucking like crazy bombs, and it's just fucking wild, dude.
Yeah.
He gets clipped and he's done. Like, Cody, no chin for a reason.
Yep.
So I can't back a guy that has zero chin, and I'm going Rafael here. And that brings us to the main event, the big fight. Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer. Here's another main event that might actually break the streak of main event dogs.
Yeah, I mean, if the dog wins here, it's gonna be a shock to.
It'll be a fucking shock to the world, and Felicia will be making some history here. But so Nunes comes in at minus 575. Felicia comes in at is catching the plus 385 in points. Over and under 1.5 minus 190 for the over, under plus 155. Man, this is kind of clear cut in my opinion, but you go ahead.
Yeah, so Amanda Nunes is, for all intents and purposes, the greatest women's fighter of all time. 19-4, knocked out Holly Holm, knocked out Ronda Rousey, knocked out Cyborg, didn't knock out. I think she finished Miesha Tate with a submission, but she's beat a who's who of female fighters. This fight is at 145, so that could cause some trepidation. Felicia Spencer is a natural 145-pound female fighter. Nunes has two championships, one at 135, which she just defended against GDR, one at 145, which she's defending right here. She's trying to be the first fighter, I believe, in UFC history to successfully defend both belts while holding both belts simultaneously at the same time. This is just who can we throw to Amanda Nunes type fight. Spencer's decent, but it shows the lack of talent in the women's division. It was either her or Megan Anderson. Megan Anderson's the big, strong Australian kickboxer, and we just saw Nunez beat a kickboxer in GDR her last fight. Spencer, her whole game plan here, try to get inside somehow, grab her, clinch her, drag her down, and I guess submit her. But the problem with that is Mana Nunez has a very high black belt in jiu-jitsu. So even if you're able to get her down, she's going to kick you off, get back up, and just outbox you very badly. Spencer's very tough. She fought Cyborg Santos, took a beating for 3 rounds. Cyborg wins, pieces out the UFC, doesn't like Dana, which we're finding out a lot of people don't like Dana. Jorge Masvidal asked for his release today. John Jones has asked for his release. And she left, and she went to Bellator, and she won her first fight in Bellator. I think Nunez gets this done pretty much wherever she wants. I would look more at, instead of laying the 575, look at the KO TKO prop, maybe look at a round 3, round 4, round 5. Because I do think Spencer, I don't think, but man, it's tough because it's a smaller cage. So with a smaller cage, you're getting more action quicker. So they're going to come to blows earlier. And then if Spencer just comes charging in right at Nunez lands one of those big overhand rights, she could drop her. But her chin held up against Cyborg, but we saw Nunez knock out Cyborg in a minute. So,
and the speed of Nunez's strikes compared to Cyborg, like her combos are fucking stunning.
Yeah.
Like she might just get stunned in fucking days and not know what's coming next.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's what happened with Ronda.
Yeah.
Ronda was just like, what's going on?
Because it's a 1-2 jab and then a leg kick's coming out of nowhere to your fucking head.
And even Holm, right? Holm got knocked out in round 1 or 2. Right?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. Round 1, she got knocked out. So.
And I, like you did say, Spencer is the heavier girl. I shouldn't say that because I don't want to offend any women, but she's the bigger girl.
More, natural 145.
Yeah, exactly. And she is a great jiu-jitsu, but like Preston said, I mean, Nunez won her belt from fucking submitting Miesha Tate. Like she's a black belt too. So bring that shit down. She'll fucking submit you from the ground. She'll outstrike Felicia in all aspects. I don't know if we've ever seen Nunez really get tested on the feet. I mean,
I mean, she fought a very tough fight with Shevchenko 3 years ago.
Yeah, but as far as like maybe outpointing style, but I'm talking more like power. Like,
I mean, the
one shot that really dazed the shit out of her.
Yeah, the one was Cyborg was supposed to beat her, I think, but she beat Cyborg.
And I just don't think Felicia's that girl. I don't think she's got the power to knock Nunez out. Nunez, on the other hand, does.
No, Felicia Spencer is pretty much the female equivalent of Chase Hooper, who we talked about earlier. A pretty much one-trick pony, but she's in the main event.
She looked pretty okay with Cyborg. She was throwing some better counters than I thought and stuff like that. But
yeah,
it's going to take some really crazy shit to beat Amanda here, and I just don't see it happening tonight. I think Nunez is the best. She could beat male fighters in this league. I think. I honestly think so. I mean, she's that good. She actually trains, right? She's the only female that trains at her gym.
Yeah, she's very, very good, and she made it known before he retired. Henry Cejudo was talking a lot of crap against her, and then she was open to fighting him. But
that'd be awesome.
Dana White will never make that fight.
No,
but
they might have to do that in China.
Yeah, but no, yeah, I think it's nice too. The line's starting to come down a little bit. I think it opened at 5-1. It got up to like 7-1. You're getting 6. Again, we talk about this a lot with bankroll management. But if you have
the bankroll
$6,000, you could win $1,000 here.
Pretty easy.
Pretty safe, yeah. So.
Pretty fucking safe. I mean, about as safe as you can get, in my opinion. And Nunez by TKO is minus 225, so that's even better.
Yeah, because you're getting a full 5 rounds, and it's just her to.
I think she gets it done in like round 1. I think she gets it done in like round 2, round 3.
Yeah, I think the prop's 1.5, right? Over 1.5.
1.5. I really think it's like round 2, round 3. I think the first round will be feeling each other out. I don't think she's gonna just rush into anything. I mean,
because even she doesn't. even have to really put it on her. She could clearly win a 50-45 just by out kickboxing her.
Exactly.
Oh, we have, I guess, yeah, if you want to bring them in, go ahead. We might have an appearance by Jason.
Sorry,
Jason's coming
guys.
up here.
Cool.
But I'm here.
Nope. What's up, Jason? How you doing, buddy?
How are you, brother?
Man, we're hanging in there, bro. We're glad you could join us here at the last second.
Yeah, we're
How'd
on
you guys-
Nunez Spencer, but if you have any of your favorite looks, go ahead for the card.
How'd you guys do last week? Make money?
Oh, dude, we balled over here. Yeah, I was up 22 units last weekend, so we did really, really good.
My man.
Yep.
Boy.
We tore it apart last week. It was
Yeah,
excellent.
we went 9 for 10 on the Fightcast.
Yeah, we were 10-1. So yeah, same shit.
How dare you outdo me?
No, you know what it was, though. Actually,
Sakai winning the fight, right?
No, I was gonna say actually, I go, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Sakai was the nail biter for me, but yeah.
Well, Jeff had a 10-teamer. He would have won it if Spike Carlisle won a decision.
Oh man.
Yeah.
18,
What was that paying, Jeff?
$18 to win 4,300.
Holy shit.
And Spike Carlisle, dude, he fucking blew it. He could have done better. I wasn't very impressed with him, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't. Well, you know what I bet? I think I bet over 1.5 rounds, maybe. I'm not sure. I might have not bet anything in that fight. I'm not sure. So I still have some fight tape to watch. Obviously, I will have another article for Pub Sports Radio on a couple fights in the morning, and then a NASCAR one on Sunday morning for anybody that wants to get their bets in. So basically, I mean, listen, we know that you guys are talking about the Nunes fight, and we live in the biggest and best type of culture since social media. But in the world of MMA, the thing that cannot be overstated is that Amanda Nunes is the greatest female mixed martial artist of all time. We know that. And I said something on another show, you know, everybody that's talking about Felicia Spencer brings up the fact that she went 3 rounds with Chris Cyborg. And that's great. But if the best thing that you've ever done is get your ass kicked for 15 minutes, congratulations, because she got destroyed. And we know Amanda Nunes knocked Spencer out knocked Cyborg out in under a minute. So, you know, the fight opened at -360, I think. That if you got that line, you got value because that line was wrong. Now I know we're upwards of -$6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in my opinion, the only way to bet this fight is Felicia Spencer has 0 striking offense and 0 striking defense. So she's a great grappler, but everybody forgets Amanda Nunes is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt. We know that. So I think now I laid 175 that Amanda Nunes gets it done inside the distance, but that has now inflated to -225, I think, somewhere around there. If you got in that -175, I think that's a great bet. If you did not and you're looking for an angle, the only thing I would suggest is you take Amanda Nunes in round 1 at +225 and you take her in round 2 at +375. I think if you do that, you cash one of those tickets. I don't see how Felicia Spencer gets past 10 minutes. I would be shocked if the bell rings for round 3 because Amanda Nunes is not going to respect her striking game. She respected Jermaine Durandamy's striking game, and that's why she took the fight to the ground and grinded out a 5-round decision. She's really smart. She knows this girl doesn't stand a chance on the feet. So I think she drops everybody. It's just a question of, does she finish people? So I think that she'll drop her and that it will be stopped. I think you cash one of those plus money tickets. At this point, if you haven't already bet the fight, I think that's the only way that you could really go about it at this point.
Yeah, man. I actually was telling Preston, I think she gets it done in round 2 or round 3 for sure. I don't see it ever going past round 3, but maybe round one's where it's at too. I mean, I didn't think about her necessarily jumping all over Felicia with the fact that, you know, she's not respecting her game, that she doesn't have to.
Because you know why, Jeff? You would hate to be sitting with a round 2 and round 3 ticket, and she knocks her out in 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, I agree. So maybe all 3 for me, but fuck.
Yeah. I mean, I made before you got on, I said Spencer's pretty much the female equivalent of Chase Hooper, where pretty little to no striking and all.
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree with that. And I mean, can you imagine? Listen, Amanda Nunes will knock me out. Okay, so like, can you imagine her fighting somebody that doesn't know how to throw their hands? It's like a deer getting hit by a Mack truck.
No,
I mean, well, she did it against Ronda Rousey and knocked her out in what, a minute? So.
And Holmes,
right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Well, Holly Holm has good kickboxing, and she got knocked out in round 1. So.
I mean, look at Cyborg. She was the most feared striker in women's MMA for a decade, and she knocked her out in a minute.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
So
I agree completely with you guys on that one.
Just her hand speed alone. I mean, God, she could probably beat. I was telling Preston, she could beat a lot of men in this division, in this sport.
Yeah, 135.
Let me ask you a question. I went back and forth, man, on the co-main event. Where did you guys land? Initially, I thought I was going to take Rafael Assunção and that plus money just because Cody's chin is made of glass. We know that. And, you know, I've never lost money on Cody because I faded him in both Dillashaw fights and I faded him against Pedro Munoz. And I just think, like, everything is on the line for him in this fight. And I don't fear Rafael Assunção striking enough to be worried about Cody Garbrandt's glass chin. I know it's a really close call. I went back and forth on it, but I think I have to take Cody Garbrandt. Where are you guys on that? You taking the dog money?
I'm taking the dog money personally. I just, you know, my thing is, and I've always kind of jockeyed Cody Garbrandt as far as his boxing and his hand speed. But when he gets knocked out 3 fights in a row, you look like an idiot doing that. So I personally cannot keep backing this guy because, dude, Pedro Munoz wasn't known for outstriking anyone, but he knocked Cody clear out. And the thing is, it's not necessarily, you don't have to be a striker because Cody, you know, he's going to come in and start throwing these crazy fucking bombs. Like, he's not, it's almost like you trigger something in his head where he's like, fuck this, I'm just going to go all in here. You know, that's the worry with Cody, is where his mind's at. Because if he wants to stand on the outside and outpoint this guy, I think he has the speed and the boxing to do it. I do. But I also think Rafael's going to go for a lot of shoots, man, and he's going to go that route. I think he's an underrated counter striker in my book. So I'm going with the dog money, man. There's something about Cody I can't get behind.
I don't blame you. I get it completely because I thought I was going to be on the Assunção too. I think Cody's got a good sprawl, so I think he'll be able to stay away from the takedowns.
Yeah,
but you know, you never really know. Where did you land on that one, Preston?
So my pick is Assunção. I think round 1, Cody's going to stick to the game plan, outstrike him. But again, when you watch, I was watching a lot of the Embedded and the Countdown show. All Cody's working on is his 1-2. It's like, is that really all you do, man? You just throw a 1-2 every fucking thing you got. And I think round 1, Garbrandt's going to outpace him, outquick him. Then round 2, Assunção's going to make the fight a little dirty, muddy it up. And round 3, I think Assunção clinches him against the cage, drags him down, and Cody gets frustrated, and Assunção just puts a beating on him. And maybe,
well, you know what we've seen is, like, Cody goes in with a game plan, right? Then he gets hit really hard, and he throws everything out the window and just brawls.
Yeah,
that's what happened in that Pedro Munoz fight.
Yeah, but we were talking about even Munoz was hitting him with some good leg kicks. I think Assunção can too. And then I don't know. I think Assunção has more ways to win, and Cody is very reliant on just boxing and
that's what I was talking about, Jason, is that Pedro Munoz was kicking, giving him hearty leg kicks, and there was almost a point in the fight where fucking Cody said, "Screw this, man. I'm just going all in like he always."
100%. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And that's just what scares me, because if he can stick to the outside and outbox this guy, he can outpoint him in a decision.
Well, he was complaining that he got hit with a headbutt, and then he was bleeding from his head, and then the ref didn't call it, and then he was like, "Okay, F this, let's go." And then he just got dropped.
So you just wonder how much this camp change, him hopping over to a new camp's really going to do. What's going to do for him? But
yeah, it's a dangerous fight. So I agree with you guys. Let me ask you: are you guys taking the dog money on Formiga?
I am.
Yep, we agreed with Formiga there. Yep.
Good. Yeah, I'm there with you.
I love Formiga in this fight, man. He's so underrated in the counter striking and the striking in general. He's got great calf kicks, dude. And if he gets to the ground, he's going to be able to handle this guy.
I respect Alex Perez, but we're talking about a guy in Formiga that he beat the #1 contender in the division last year.
I know.
And now he's on the Fight Pass prelims. I don't get it, man.
Yeah, that's what we said. I said, why is this fight the third fight on the card? It makes no sense. Yeah.
And he fucking looked, that Moreno fight, Brandon Moreno looked damn good, but Formiga didn't look bad either. Like, some people could have said he won that fight with the takedowns.
Yeah, I had Formiga. I had a bet on Formiga. I thought Formiga won the fight, but Moreno just out-scrambled him a bit, I think.
Yeah, you just have to worry about that. The real fight, though, Keg, that I think a lot of people are looking at is, of course, the Sandhagen-Sterling fight. What do you think on that?
Oh, Jesus. Well, #1, I think that it is the best fight on the card, both from an entertainment value, and I think that they are evenly matched. So it's so tough, dude, because we know that Aljo is the greatest wrestler in the division by a mile, and we know that Corey Sandhagen's striking is excellent. He uses his range great. He doesn't have great footwork, but he doesn't really need it because he uses that range great. His striking accuracy is phenomenal. His hand speed is phenomenal. So they both have their paths to victory, but I struggle to find the clear road that this fight goes down because it is so close. I think that both of these guys could win the fight. The one thing I would say is that if you look at Aljo's opponents, the last few, they've all been really short guys, not the same body frame as Sandhagen. I wonder how that affects the fight. The one angle I'll tell you that I think has the best chance of happening is that the fight goes the distance. And I know you have to pay for it. It's like -185, I think. But don't you guys think it's a 3-round war that probably goes the distance?
I do.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought it would be a 3-round. Let me see. We just talked about that prop just 5 minutes ago. Let me look at that real quick.
Yeah, I'm on a little different length, though, than you, Jason. I'm all over Corey Sandhagen.
Oh, I love him. And I said on a show a couple days ago that if I had to lean in the fight, that I would lean Sandhagen. But the more I think about it, the more I think that it's a closer call than I thought.
Yeah, but
I feel better about Sandhagen's game than Aljo. So
yeah, but the main deal is like you're saying with the wrestling. But if you watch, Sandhagen gets up almost immediately every time. Then he uses his elbows, clinches out, gets back into range, and then out kickboxes his opponent. I think
that's true, but we have to at least admit that he has not fought a wrestler in the same stratosphere as Sterling.
Yeah, but also Sterling was getting hurt to the body against Pedro Munoz and who was the other guy? Jimmy Rivera. Sandhagen's body kicks, knees up the middle. I think
that's true.
I really, really like Sandhagen. I think Sandhagen's the best fighter in the division.
I think I give the edge to Jan slightly, but I mean 1, 2, and 3 are those 3 guys in some kind of order.
Yeah. No, I'm a little bit more on the fence here. I mean, I could see path of victory for both guys. Sterling, like you said, Jason, just out wrestling and trying to keep takedown.
Yeah, I guess smaller cage, he can try to clinch him against the cage more.
Exactly. And then, Sandhagen is piecing him up from the outside. I mean, if you take either guy by decision, it's Corey's plus 200 and Sterling's plus 175. So
That's not a bad angle right there, Jeff. You take
Nope.
them both and win some plus money because I think they're both tough enough to last 15 minutes.
I agree. The one thing I guess you could say is a little skeptical is Corey hasn't really been chin tested yet, has he? I mean, he's taken some shots. He does leave his chin up a little bit.
Yeah, he got hit a few times hard by John Lineker.
Yeah, I mean, John Lineker fucking can hit like a beast too. So, I mean, I guess he has been tested a little bit, but Lineker has slowed down by now.
Yeah, Lineker's
He's a lot older of a guy.
Yeah,
but
he's at 1 FC. Right?
I mean,
But
dude,
Sandhagen has been so dominant in every striking exchange with everybody.
I agree. I mean, it's night and day with comparison. So, I am leaning Sandhagen in this fight, and depending on how the first 3 fights of the night go, because I'm laying heavy on all 3 of them, that's going to dictate, what I bet and who I bet on in this fight.
And Sandhagen comes from what I would argue is the top camp in MMA with Gaethje, Blades, Magden, Elevation. So,
yeah, I mean, they're a hot camp right now, dude.
Yeah, they're winning everything.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about the Neil Magny, Anthony Rocco Martin fight?
I took Magny, Jeff's on Martin.
Yeah, I'm on Martin, man. I think Magny's coming in. I think the line should be a little closer. Lee threw 16 strikes that last match, so you can't gauge Magny because he was basically fighting nobody. I mean, the guy was going after shoot, and they were weak shoots. It wasn't very explosive at all.
Yeah.
I was so high on the Leech as a prospect. I think the fight comes down to really how for real is Magny at this point in his career, because I was shocked at that performance against the Leech.
Yeah, he had him.
He absolutely destroyed my bet too. So I faded him, and the guy that showed up in that fight should beat Rocco Martin. He sat down on his punches, especially his jab, and the Leech didn't really know what to do because everything the Leech does well is off counter striking, right? And I kind of feel that Magny is facing a guy in Anthony Rocco Martin who doesn't really lead exchanges. Again, much more of a counter striker. And Rocco Martin is really comfortable off his back foot. He usually gives a takedown up or two early to gauge range. So I think that Martin is susceptible, especially in a smaller cage, to the clinch. And all these things that I'm saying is what Magny did flawlessly in his last fight. So if that Magny shows up, I think he wins. If the Magny that we saw before last fight shows up, really, really tentative and hesitant, gets destroyed by counter striking, then I think that Magny is in trouble. So the question is, which Magny shows up? I lean towards Magny. Haven't made a bet yet. Going to watch some more tape tonight.
Yeah, Preston likes Magny too because of size. He's going to have a little bit of he's going to be the bigger framed guy.
Yep.
And then if that works in with your clinching and that kind of game plan, then could be a long night for Rocco. But Rocco, he gets off his back or, he takes us to the ground. He's a better jiu-jitsu. He's a better jiu-jitsu artist than Magny is. And man, Rocco was sitting there trying to fucking submit Damian Maia. That's crazy. Like, no one does that. So
yeah, and you know what? He's had a good couple years, Rocco Martin.
Yeah, he's a very underrated guy.
Yeah. I don't begrudge anybody from being on him.
And one thing you have seen about Magny is those legs of his. If Rocco goes that game plan, which his camp, they love the calf kick. If he implements that calf kick and starts banging at those legs, it could be a long night for Magny too. So,
any of you guys on Alex Caceres?
No, I think this is more of a tailor-made fight for Chase Hooper because last time this fight I told Jeff reminded me of the Michael Johnson Thiago Moises fight where Michael Johnson clearly could have won the fight, put himself in a bad position, gets subbed out real quick. I think in 15 minutes that Hooper's going to get him down and tap him.
I'm intrigued by that plus 155 price.
Yeah, it keeps going up. It keeps going up.
I said the same thing because if it gets into that exchange, I mean,
he's clearly better standing. Clearly,
yeah. And Hooper, he's going to eat shots, and if he eats the wrong shot, he's going to drop like a fly.
Yeah.
But we'll see, man. I'd lean Hooper. I'm probably going to stay off this fight personally. It's a little bit too close for me, man. I mean, I think people are overlooking Alex here. He's not even into the pack kind of guy. He's more of a middle of the pack kind of guy. So it's a good step up.
I think I agree. I think I agree with you, Jeff. Like, at least you know that at like now he's up to plus 165. You're definitely live.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And it just matters if he can withstand some of the thing about Hooper's jiu-jitsu is he's very creative with it. So that's something that's scary. He's not like
he's very long.
He's very slick and like fucking hard to. Yeah, I mean, just his length alone's a problem. But
I assume both of you guys are on O'Malley, or at least think he's going to win.
I'm on O'Malley, but I mean,
I'll tell you what. You know what gets me nervous, bro? He's tested against nobody.
Yeah.
And if we know anything about Eddie Wineland, he's going to go in there and throw some heavy hands with really bad intentions. And the question becomes, is O'Malley's use of range and his length, especially how he uses kicks to stay at range, if Eddie Wineland is swinging at air all night long, O'Malley's got it in the bag. I think the kid is special. Don't get me wrong. But if Eddie could find his way into that pocket and throw those fucking bolos, that kid could drop O'Malley, bro. I mean, come on. Plus 500 is ridiculous.
I mean, man, I kind of said the same thing when this fight first booked. I told Preston, I was like, this is definitely O'Malley's biggest test to date. I mean,
yeah.
The thing about
I'm not looking to bet Wineland. I'm just saying it wouldn't shock me if he caught a young kid.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't shock me either, and especially with all the hype. It seems like there's always a fight like this every card where the big hyped favorite gets fucking one shot knocked KO'd or something. But Wineland, man, the only thing is you can't back someone that fights with their hands down all the time. Like
that's an issue.
And O'Malley's accuracy and speed and creativity is par none to nobody. I mean, he's fucking very fucking clever.
And that's the reason why you don't throw any money on Wineland, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. So, but yeah, I agree with you. There is that one shot knockout that can always happen.
Last question I have: where did you guys fall on the Mearshart Heinich fight?
And this was a tough one for me, dude, because I went back and forth. I actually put out GM3 on my leans last night, but I have since then changed my mind. I'm going with Ian. I just think Ian, he needs this a little bit more. He's the naturally bigger guy. And I think he's just going to kind of play it smooth, use his wrestling, stay out of trouble, and just try to fucking go that route, man, and do a lot of clinching against the fence, trying to mainly end up on top of this guy, you know. GM3, though, scares me with those damn – every time I bet GM3, I lose. So I bet against them, I lose. I bet against them, I lose. So I'll be damned if I bet with them and then I lose. So I'm going Ian here.
Yeah,
what do you think, Preston?
Yeah, I took Gerald Mearshart. I'm not impressed with Ian Heinisch at all. Just a big, tall, bulky kind of not a great wrestler, not a great striker. Just tries to physically impose his size on the fighter. Doesn't even throw a lot. Like, that's an issue.
He's got better footwork. Like, he is the better on the feet, I think, as far as his footwork, getting out of that pocket.
Yeah, but I think
like that.
Yeah, but even with that, I think it's what you were saying. I think he's going to clinch. I think it's going to be a really boring fight.
Because GM3 was getting his ass whipped last fight until he got fucking lucky and submitted. What's his name?
No, he would have won a decision against
I
Duran
don't think so, dude. Wynn was fucking getting the better end of him that first
round.
But
his striking has improved. Mearshart's striking's improved, and he's always a submission threat. So if he gets taken down, he can get a guillotine, get an armbar. I'm leaning GM3. I'm probably not going to bet that fight because the other issue is he was supposed to fight the San Antonio kid, Ivy. They pull him off. Then they say, oh, Heinisch can fight. No, he can't. No, now he can. It was so weird and stupid about that. And then we finally got a full card announcement for next week, a week in advance, which UFC's kind of been screwing around too much with that stuff. But next week there is a lock. It's Merab Dvalishvili versus Ray Borg, but you're laying minus 300. But I don't see.
How about you, Keg? What do you think?
I'm not sure that I'll bet the Ian Heinisch fight, but I think that Gerald Meerschaert's probably a more skilled fighter in most facets of the game offensively. But an issue that I have with him is he's not even close to the athlete that Heinisch is. And I think that Heinisch probably pressures and gets in his face. And the question becomes, will Meerschaert have any lapses in defense and cost him solely because he's not the better athlete? I don't know. Meerschaert has been able to get up from takedowns when he's fighting somebody that's not as strong as him. Will he be able to do that against Heinisch? Probably not, is my guess, because we've seen Heinisch keep better athletes and wrestlers down than Meerschaert. On the flip side, we've seen Meerschaert struggle against guys like Kevin Holland, who does not have the strength of Ian Heinisch. So I don't know. Who wins that battle probably goes a long way in determining who wins the fight. So I think I lean Heinisch, but probably won't bet the fight.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a tough fight, but GM3, every reason you just said, he's the slower guy, he's flat-footed, he's not very athletic at all, is the reason I bet against him the last 3 fights, and he's proven me wrong every fucking fight. So I just don't know with this guy. I'm going to keep laying against him until I finally get that W. But with everything you just said, I agree with. And Ian being the bigger guy, I do think that he can use that in his advantage.
I agree.
Yep. Well, Jason, man, we appreciate you coming. We're going to wrap up the show, but before you go, can we get we're going to do the best bet segment. Can we, you got any bets you'd like to give out?
Oh, man. I think Formiga gets it done. I think the fight goes the distance in the Aljo fight. And I still think there's value in taking Amanda Nunes inside the distance, even at minus 220. I got it at a better price, but I would not tell somebody to not take it at minus 220 because I think she's that dominant. Or you bet that first and second round and get the plus price on both numbers. I would say probably right now at this moment, those are my favorite looks.
Man, I like the Nunes look. What about you, Preston?
Yes, I'm just going to go with my guy, Corey Sandhagen. I think he gets it done. He was a small dog. Now I think he's like minus 105, 110. Pick him. I do like Formiga as well. I think he gets it done. But, I think it's Sandhagen's time. I think he wins a decision here pretty clearly.
Yep. And I'm just going to go straight up. You know me, I'm not a big guy on looking for value. I like to go for W's. So, dude, I'm laying it all with Herbert Burns right off the bat. This is either going to make or break my night, and I love Herbert Burns here, dude. I'm going all in, and then I'm going to roll all that shit over on my second best bet, which is Minifield. So I'm hoping to cash in big the first 2 fights, and then the rest of the card just smooth sailings. But, if that happens, man, I might even roll it all over to Formiga. We'll see. But, man, those 3 first fights are crucial in my book, and if that happens, bro, we're going to be partying again.
It would be like a $20,000 night if that happens.
The clubs are back open here, Jason. We're ready to roll now.
There you go.
Man, so we appreciate you coming in. Quick shout out to our sponsors again, Natural Heights. We appreciate y'all guys over off 1880 Nacogdoches Road. The number is 210-592-1060. If you suffer from stress, anxiety, joint pain, PTSD, insomnia, probably every one of these UFC fighters suffer from, go visit our boys over there at Natural Heights. They're good guys. We're down here live from the Stouttown 101 studios. Come visit. We're open at 50% now. So more people, more tables, more drinks, more food. What's happening down here? More ladies. Everything's going good.
Yeah, and Jason, you got to give me a NASCAR bet where the guy doesn't get fucking an accident with.
Oh my God, Preston! What a brutal week, bro. We had two. We had 2 winners in a row, man. That on the last few laps, how Denny Hamlin hits the wall with 15.
Dude, I was like going ballistic because that was Sunday. Saturday we had a great night. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get paid this week. And I watched it. I'm like, what happened here? How did he hit the wall? What's going on?
Yeah, and then we bet Justin Allgaier, who leads like half the race, 4 laps to go. A caution comes out to ruin us, and then he gets taken out of the race by his own teammate.
Yeah.
You can't even make that up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just brutal. That's why I'm like, man, now I got to win all this money back on the UFC, and then hopefully Sunday, maybe it's just take Chase Elliott. He seems to be the best driver whenever I.
Well, I'll tell you, the last few races, he seems to have the best car. But you know me, bro. I'll be on Sunday.
Jason, give everyone your social, where they can find you this weekend, and looking out for Jason's blogs here on Pub Sports Radio.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Articles tomorrow for Pub Sports Radio. The main event breakdown is already on Pub Sports Radio. Sunday morning, we'll do a little quick NASCAR article for everybody if they want to hop on something. Tomorrow, obviously, the Sports Gag YouTube channel at 6 o'clock. We'll have the fight cast going. And Sunday, we'll be on for the NASCAR race. And that's it. At the Sports Keg CEO is the Sports Keg Twitter handle. And thanks, man. Love working with you guys.
Awesome, guy. Awesome, Jason. Appreciate it, bro.
Yep.
All right, bro.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you guys. We'll see you next week.